Hey YouTube channel, I just remembered that I had you. That was weird. So recently a fan film was released that based the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in a gritty, realistic tone. I should do this quotation. That had guns, violence, death, a takeover, and all of our lovely Rangers dying. And apparently people want this. A lot of people wanted it to happen. They wanted to make a film of this. And that sparked my mind to make a video of it, which is what I'm doing right now with a video camera. Well, phone. So let me just talk about how I feel and how I think about how the world feels about Power Rangers, which is weird. So sit down and prepare for a lot of this. Now everyone needs to know that, or at least remember that, Power Rangers is a co-production between a company in Japan that made live-action shows for kids involving brightly colored superheroes. And that was brought over to America by an Israeli and an Egyptian working together as Saban Entertainment to give us the kids. And somehow that first season blew up in a way that is still remembered today. Because people today will remember that show only for the first 2 seasons, at most of the space, and he would only remember the details. Well, just like not the details, the concepts. Like, there was a Green Ranger, he was evil, then he turned good, and there was a Titanus, the Lord Zed, and nothing else. And if you were bringing these ideas up, people will only remember them, and they would cherish them. They would go, anytime anything bad would happen to the original 6, people would go nuts over. Not for anything else that happens after that. Fuck that. So that's probably the mindset that's come up with this fan film and probably many other fan films that came after it. Only basing this on that first season. And nothing else. And that kind of shows, and that's also it's a bit troublesome in a way. Because it also shows, remember that in addition to praising that idea, your nostalgia, people seem to laugh at everything else that Power Rangers does. Because it's a goofy, live action, it's ridiculous, which it is. That's how it was intended. It wasn't intended to stay on the air for long. And yet somehow, this show has done special effects for live action that has not been done for other kids, and I wish it was for kids of today, because if it was, they would be comedic, like sitcoms. Power Rangers is one of the few kid shows that was live action that wasn't a sitcom. And people think, oh, okay, that should be for adults, and if it Saban should branch out for adult franchise and make stories for adults, and somehow all the adult fans will come up and they will grab it and love it because, damn it, we want Power Rangers killing people. The film is iffy by itself because it has it's probably the best production values of any fan film involving the Power Ranger name. And I give kudos to the producer. He's done stuff in the style that I like. I like Dread, which he's worked on. The movie was a gritty reboot, but it was done really well. And I do have some space in my heart for grittiness. I just don't think it works for Power Rangers, and I don't think it's going to stick around. Because remember that he was talking about in his video of how Power Rangers should be seen as, through his mind, a gritty idea that the Rangers who were summoned by this alien suddenly got this depression, they got distress over saving the world, which, yeah, it's true. Power Rangers, again, it's a brightly colored idea of a militia, and if you convey that through a more serious lens, then yeah, it would be that. And he's saying that no one else has done this, and Power Rangers doesn't tell serious stories, which I tend to disagree, because if you pay attention to its long history, it has built one hell of a stupid mythology. and has built many little stories that are pretty touching about life, death, redemption. A lot of these things Power Rangers have told. It's just that the series just didn't have a good streaming production run. There was constantly shifting people out and in, and there was copying stories from all these shows in Japan. So even all this good stuff, all this stuff that actually tells good stories within the goofy tone of lasers and giant robots, most people would not want to stick around, and I don't think they would if Saban were to branch out an adult film. It could have a tone with it, a good tone with it, but not like this film, which is depressing, trying to tell that. And even then, there was actually it was trying to be a bootleg. There was actually a bootleg at that time that actually conveyed that very idea, that hinted at it. It was called Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills. Watch it. It is terrible. It is cheap. But you know what? It conveys a lot of what might happen if Zordon actually said what he said. And throughout some of the series, it actually does reveal that, yeah, this is messed up and the Rangers are messed up. But it doesn't tell it outright, but like this fan film tries to do. And also note that because it's a silly concept, you won't really get to do it really well often with too gritty stuff, because suits are often seen as ridiculous and Power Rangers combine ridiculous elements. It's trying to do Pacific Rim and Avengers in one shebang, and it's hard to make that serious because Power Rangers, again, is not super serious. It could tell good stories, but it can tell within its own frame, and people just have to accept that, and I don't think adults will if they do. Which leads to this fan film, which frankly is bland. Despite all the attention you see, all the visuals, it's basically exposition. Power Rangers is not exposition heavy. You say puns, you tell the moral of the day, and you go fight monsters. And you kill those monsters without any sort of trial. You just kill them. That's a little dark right there. And in this film, this fan film, is simply all the Rangers are dead, all of them betray each other. It's actually very bleak and very negative, especially in Bulk and Skull, how far they've gone. It's not good. And even then, a lot of the information about it is very bleak, which I think is going to happen with a lot of the films that are coming out now, with all the kids from then being adults and now be able to produce their own films. It's just a lot of name dropping. Just a lot of name dropping and a lot of the obvious jokes like, oh, Kimberly, she'll get to make love to the Red and the Green Ranger, as foretold. And it's mostly exposition, and not even the action's good, because the Megazord is far in the back in the beginning, and everything's shot in the dark. So, and even when you put it in the light, the suits are ugly. This is not something that if you were made to an adult franchise, adults will eat up these toys and proudly display them. And again, it was a fan film. It wasn't meant to sell stuff or start up a idea for Saban to do. It was merely to make a statement using Power Rangers and just that. Just a statement. So that wasn't intended for that. Even that, I would say, again, Power Rangers and any kind of show that involves stupid gimmicks and suits, it can tell stories, and it has told stories, but I don't think an adult franchise would actually come out of that. And even now, you only cater to Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and thanks to Netflix and DVDs and that release, now you can try to see other seasons besides Power Rangers, but people will stick to this, not talk of any other mythology, which is a bit of a letdown. Again, it's weird how people won't give a damn about it, yet somehow about the original, yeah, they would. They would really want to, and I don't think they would. To shorten it out, Power Rangers, the fan film, conveys gritty, is not really that gritty. Power Rangers, just find it in the sun. And tape.